Hi, my name is Talia. Welcome to Talia Nerds Out. Just have a couple of book haul videos to do, and then hopefully I will actually be done with book hauls for a little while. I need to start trying to not only read what I have, but also maybe start trying to borrow things through Libby and stuff because unfortunately don't have endless funds for books, even if I'd like to. So the first thing that I've been meaning to show, I keep forgetting to, is my Anne of Green Gables box set. Now the only one it's missing is it's Windy Poplars, but it has all the other ones: Anne of Green Gables, Anne of Avonlea, Anne of the Island, Anne's House of Dreams, Rainbow Valley, and Rilla of Ingleside. So here's the first book. There is the second. And it's just it's a really nice cloth-bound hardcover. It's just got a really classic feel to it. The text isn't too small. And what's even nicer is that I didn't realize it when I picked this up. I got it was marked as like new, but it was used, and I got it really at a decent price, because normally this would have been out of my price range. But it came with a journal, and no one had written it or anything, because it still had plastic wrap around it. So any notes I have, I write in the little journal, which is really sweet. It's a pretty little journal. So that was probably my, more expensive one. But other things, I mentioned last time that I wanted to read the Porter sisters' works. So I did find their works. Now this one looks like it might have been one of those ones where they copy the pages from like an old copy. So it has that really, I forget what it's called, where they copy an old book like that. But it has a lot of space for writing on it. This one is Coming Out and The Field of 40 Footsteps by Jane and Anna Marie Porter. And then here is volume 1 and volume 2 of their Tales Round Winter Hearth, or Round a Winter Hearth. So I haven't read any of these. These look like they might be short stories. Maybe. I'm not sure. I guess I'll find out. Maybe I'll read this around winter time. And then the final one, I was going to just make this fiction. Maybe I'll be able to go ahead and finish all the book haul in one video. That'd be nice. Okay. I picked this up based on a recommendation that I saw in a video. I want to say it was Kelly Reads a Lot who mentioned this book in one of her videos. This is Umberto Eco. I'm not sure if I'm saying it correctly. This is an Italian author. And the name of his book is The Name of the Rose. And I guess there's a Sean Connery movie based off of this. But I had never heard of the book. I was interested because the way they describe him is as like Sherlock Holmes meets, he said Sherlock Holmes meets Socrates meets Thomas Aquinas. It just sounded really interesting. Like Cadfael, you're dealing with a monk in the Middle Ages. They're Franciscan. I can't remember what Cadfael was, but Brother William Baskerville. That must have been on purpose. Okay. Okay, his tools are the logic of Aristotle, theology of Aquinas, the empirical insights of Roger Bacon, all sharpened into a glistening edge by wry humor and ferocious curiosity. I wanted initially to read this on Kindle, but for whatever reason, my brain just wasn't making the connection over Kindle. The language it's written in such a way that it almost feels like It is written during the era from when I was glancing through. So I was like, this might be something I just need to read in physical form in order to have it sink in. But yeah, I look forward to reading this. I don't know a whole ton about it. I don't even know if there's other books in the series. But it was translated out of Italian into English. The dazzling bestseller. I guess I'll go ahead into books that are not classics then, because I have time. Okay. Sorry guys, gotta reach over. A lot of these are McCullough books, and I've been waiting for these for a while. I'm not sure some of them are coming from overseas, because I get a lot of my stuff through eBay. So, in order to save money. So I'm never sure where it comes from. So this is something that interested me because I was reading about Dr. Rush, and they're mentioning about a guy who was an early editor and publisher, Matthew Carey, and he just sounded to be interesting. So this is a book about him. There's not a lot about him. I found like 2 books. One was written for kids that I was hoping would be higher level than it was, but really is almost like it's a pretty young level. And I ended up setting aside to give to my sister for Christmas. It gives a more of a historical fiction kind of feel. And my sister has developmental delays. And even though it might reach more where she is developmentally, because even though she's older than me, she's probably no older than about 10 at the oldest. Sometimes she gets a little older than that, but usually she's about 10, sometimes younger, developmentally. So having her get a book like this, where it almost feels like a historical fiction, but it actually has something about someone who is real, at least it'll challenge her somewhat, because, she's been out of school forever, and getting her to read anything that's, somewhat challenging is, challenging. So I put aside that kids' version of the book about Matthew, I put aside the kids' book on Matthew Carey for her for Christmas, and this one is mine. Whereas this is definitely meant for adults. A Study in American Literary Development. Then, this was given to me by my mom. She was going to get rid of a Bible study to give to her friend. I was like, well, before you give it away, let me see it. Because she thought it was too scholarly or whatever. She started flipping through it, decided she wanted to keep it. So she felt guilty, and she bought me one. The Thought of St. Paul, a commentary on the Pauline epistles. And it's put out by Reverend William Most and Christendom Press. And Christendom, it's a local to me college. Then I have, this must have been something that was recommended to me. I got it on sale too, so I got decently on sale. Okay. Revolutionary Mothers, Women in the Struggle for Americans' Independence. Sorry, my mouth's not working. Women in the Struggle for America's Independence. So I think it's going to cover women like Molly Pitcher, for example. Sorry, I need something to drink. Let's see, so also, Margaret Corbin, who was crippled for life when she took her husband's place beside a cannon at Fort Monmouth. So it's mostly a bunch of different stories. So then, I have Fire's Faith, Catholic England under Mary Tudor. Y'all know how much I like Eamon Duffy. This one focuses specifically on the burnings, but about also how the church, how Mary and her regime handled trying to reestablish the church, the Catholic Church in England after her brother died. And Eamon Duffy pushes back against par, priorly previously held beliefs about Mary and her regime. This is he does not cover everything that he does in Stripping of the Altars, which is his big book on the religious tumult of Tudor era, but this covers this specific aspect of Tudor era, this one point in history, and this one particular aspect of Mary's reign. Because he has a different book on Mary's reign as well, which is way too expensive, and I will probably never be able to afford. Then this came up. This was recommended to me on eBay, I want to say. The Autobiography of a Hunted Priest by John Gerard S.J. And it says, truth is stranger than fiction, and nowhere in literature is it so apparent as in this classic work, The Autobiography of a Hunted Priest. The autobiography of a Jesuit priest in Elizabethan England is a most remarkable document. And John Gerard, its author, a most remarkable priest in a time when to be a Catholic in England courted imprisonment and torture. To be a priest was treason by act of Parliament. Talk about how he smuggled into England. It makes me think of, I don't remember if I ever saw them when we were living in England, but you hear about the priest holes. So I'm sure he was in one of those priest holes that people used to have in their houses to hide the priests when people were, searching for them to yank them away and have them, thrown into prison for being Catholic priests. Oh yeah, here we go, priest holes. So I look forward to this. Maybe I'll read this pretty soon, even though I need another book to be currently read. Like I need a hole in my head because I've got so many books going at once. Then I've got, this is when I was looking for, I had one more reference book that I wanted, and this came suggested to me when I was looking for that reference book. And this is The Ring of Words, Tolkien in the Oxford English Dictionary. And it says, it's a little known fact that after the Great War, J.R.R. Tolkien's first job was as an assistant on the Oxford English Dictionary. Yet the experience proved to be of enormous significance for his subsequent endeavors, literary as well as academic. He later said of it, I learned more in those 2 years than in any equal period of my life, which I thought was really interesting. I didn't know about this. I look forward to reading this. I also have an actual biography of him coming in that's focused more on the length of his life, but I don't have it yet. Now, before I go into David McCullough books, when I figured, since I'm reading about the Founding Fathers, I should probably get one on Benjamin Franklin. I do have one on Hamilton as well, but, and I'm just mentioning Hamilton because I'm going through my head of all the ones that I haven't mentioned that I have, because I read George Washington last year. I've mentioned that I have one on Adams. I read Rush. I don't have one on Jefferson. I can't remember if I own the one that's about Jefferson and Adams, or if it's something I'm going to borrow through the library. I can't remember. I do need to find the best book on Jefferson as well, and I'll probably read that through Kindle because I'm not necessarily as attached to Jefferson as I am to Adams and Rush. I also have Hamilton on Kindle, Chernow's Hamilton. I don't care for Hamilton as a person. I actually rather dislike him. Now, it might be because a lot of the people that I have a fondness for are did not like Hamilton either, so I tend to like Adams and Rush, and they didn't like Hamilton very much, so perhaps that does bias me against him. But I kept hearing about Franklin, and I looked up to see what the best recommended book for was. I went to look and see what was the most recommended book for Franklin, and I found a huge list, And this was on that list, and it sounded like it met most what I wanted from a book about him. So I have that here. I thought I had, oh, there it is. This came up when I was looking for this, and it was in that same list, and you could only get it on physical form. Benjamin and William Franklin, father and son, patriot and loyalist. So I thought that would be interesting, and that'll just sort of work along with this one. Okay, now I can finish off with the last of my, this should be the last of my McCullough books. I think all the others have come in. I do have one that I'm going to borrow through the library because I already had these coming in, and I decided to just borrow the Wright Brothers through the library because that's the only one that hasn't come in. And I just decided, you know, I can't just keep, I don't have the space, and I can't just keep bleeding money on books, unfortunately. So I've got whatever else I have coming in, and then I had to put myself on a moratorium when it comes to buying books, at least for a while. But David McCullough's The American Spirit, that came in. Then The Path Between the Seas, which is about the creation of the Panama Canal. The Pioneers, which is just, like it's a bunch of stories about different settlers to the American West. And then I think this is the next one that we start after the Johnstown flood. This is the September-October read, I believe. The Great Bridge, about the building of the Brooklyn Bridge. So it's quite the book haul, but some of them I've held for, you know, a little while. Some of them, quite a few of them came in today after having waited a while for them to come in. I don't know where they were coming from. Because like I said, I don't always look at where my books come from. I go for the lowest price and the best quality for the price. And I don't generally care where they come from as long as they are in good shape and aren't expensive. But yeah, that's it for this video. Like I said, there are a lot of books that I was showing, but after, I think I have, like I said, 2 more books coming in. I have one on Tolkien, a biography on Tolkien coming in, and I might have one other book coming in. And then that's it. Thank you very much for joining me today. Hope that you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. God bless. Bye.